So hi guys, my name is Izzy. I'm a sporadic YouTuber, so I'm going to be doing a reading survey. I'm going to link it down below. It's actually the one that Booksandlala put in her video where she did something very similar, but it was inspired by this survey, but I'm going to do the full survey. It's like 30 questions, so it's a lot of books, but I really wanted to do this because I think it's very much like kind of like Sarah's video, which I'm gonna try to remember to link as well for you to check out. Sarah over at Sarah's Reading Nook, she did like an award show for books, and I think that like these kind of things, like surveys and award shows and things like that, I think it shows you a lot more books that maybe won't get mentioned in your top 10, or books that fit into different categories throughout the year. So I think it's a really fun survey. It's a really fun way to show you more books that I read. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy. It's going to be a really long video, and I'm really sorry. Editing it's going to be fun. But anyways, just some stats off the top. I am going to try to do a full stats video for you guys, like I did last year. It might be till like February by the time I get there. So number of books read was 57. One of my lowest years. It has not been a good year, but it was 2020. I've been working through the pandemic. I've been mentally, physically exhausted. And I went to school, you know, full time, as well as working during the pandemic as well. So it's been a year. It's been a year, and I've been grieving times 2. Yeah, so it's been a year. I have only reread, out of those books, 3 were rereads. So anyway, getting into the first question. The first question is the best book of 2020. I'm not going to tell you what my favorite book of 2020 is yet, because I'm pretty sure I know what it is, and I'm pretty sure you probably know what it is if you've known me and you've been paying attention this year. Not that I've made a lot of videos, but if you've been paying attention on other platforms, you probably know what it is. But I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for my top 10, which I will be doing shortly, once I figure out what the hell's in my top 10. So question number 2 is a book that you were excited about, or that you thought you would love and didn't. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I've said this before, but I don't think you should not pick this up if you don't. Well, I mean, if you want to, I mean, you should still like support independent authors. This is self-published, and most of my issues were with a lot of the editing issues, the pacing, and things that I feel like an actual editor could have improved. I think grammatically, maybe I don't know, because I think he used an outside editing source, and I don't want to discredit them, because maybe they focused more on grammar and things like that. For me, I think a lot of times you should focus more on content when you're editing than grammar, but that's just me. That's just me. It's just me. Like a comma in the wrong place won't piss me off, because I'm terrible with commas. But I've mentioned it before. I've ranted about this before. I'm really sorry. I hate that this is the book. I hate that this is the book that is like fell flat for me, and I hate that I have to say that. And I don't think that you should not read it. Give it a go. If the premise interests you, give it a go. But yeah, anyway, yeah, this is Meet Cute Club by Jack Harbin. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, it's a very cute premise. I'm bummed. Question number 3 is the most surprising read. I think I'm gonna have to stick with Ace of Shades. I think I said this earlier in the year. Ace of Shades was pretty surprising for me. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I ended up buying the sequel, and then ended up buying the 3rd book that just came out this year. I pre-ordered it. I did not expect to like this. I don't know why. I doubt Owlcrate books. I do it all the time, and I don't know why, because I end up enjoying them. Usually. The next question is a book you pushed on people the most to read and they actually read. I don't get how I'm supposed to know the answer to this question. What book, you guys tell me. Is there a book that I push on you that you've actually read this year and you enjoyed? Or a book that I push on you that you, just in general? I don't know if there's a book that I push. Do I have a brand? I don't think I have a brand. I don't think I have a brand. I don't know. I think there is. Series of Unfortunate Events maybe, but I don't know. You let me know if there's a book that I pushed on you and you read it. And let me know if you hated it. Let me know if you enjoyed it, because my tastes are a little weird sometimes. Bane! Oh, Bane. Oh, you're so chunky. Chunky boy, chunky boy, chunky, chunky, chunky boy. My favorite. My big baby. Okay. The next one, question number 5, is the best series, the best sequel, and the best series ender. Whew, that's a lot. Okay. So I think the best series that I read this year, like the complete series that I've read this year, would have to be the Illuminate Files. Yeah, this is just brilliant. This whole series is just really good. I also read Memento, which was a little novella. Loved that as well. Like, I've given every single one of these 5 stars, I think. I think the best sequel that I read, if not Gemina, Nick, we'll get into him in a minute, but if not Gemina, then definitely Tunnel of Bones. I loved this. Both of these books, City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones, have been just delightful. Absolutely love them. And I think the best series ender, I thought, check please, this duology of these graphic novels are just so cute. So cute. I read this for Grinchathon. Loved it. Loved it. And I thought it was a great ending to the series. New favorite author, without a doubt, a new favorite, is Roshani Chokshi. Roshani Chokshi? Did I say that name right? I'm really bad at saying her name. But I am absolutely obsessed with her, so I might want to get saying her name properly down. But I follow her on Instagram, and she is just my favorite. She's my new, like, favorite human as well. Like, I adore her. And I might be crushing on her just a little bit. But I absolutely love her. I love her so much. And I started a Rouge Shy this year. I finished it technically in 2021. The next one is the best book from a genre you don't typically read, or out of your comfort zone. This one was really hard because I feel like I read pretty broadly. Yeah, I feel like I read pretty much whatever I want, whatever I can get my hands on. But I want to say that literary fiction is a category that I don't typically read. I just don't. I don't know. It's just too bland. Is probably the best word. Just for me, it's just not my cup of tea. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But it tends to fall like flat for me. But Such a Fun Age was perfect. So much that I read it twice. Action-packed, thrilling, unput-downable book is the next one. I think I'm gonna have to go with Four Dead Queens. This was really surprising. This one. I could not put it down. I could not put it down. I inhaled it. It was so good. It was so good. The next one is a book you read in 2020 that you're most likely to reread. Anyway, I think Homebody is something that I'm most likely to reread just because it's poetry. So the next question is your favorite cover out of all the books that you've read. This one was really hard for me. It's really hard for me to find a cover that I like, and I'll probably change my answer like the second this video is over and be like, oh, I mean that one. I'm gonna pick this one because I don't typically like people on my covers. I don't mind when there's like drawings of people, like when it's like not a cartoon, an illustration. I don't mind, but like the actual people on my cover, I hate. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I don't like it. But these, I read this one this year. I read this one last year, I think. These covers are just stunning. Stunning. So what the fuck do I know about people on covers? Maybe I do like them on covers. I think these are the most beautiful covers. They're just really pretty books. They're really pretty, and they're really pretty naked. Like, not even just the covers, like the books themselves are really pretty. Like, really pretty. You got a pretty map inside, and then like they're just really pretty put together books. They're just very aesthetically pleasing. The next question is your most memorable character. I have to say Hypnos. I have to say Hypnos. I have to say Hypnos. I cannot get that. Excuse you. It's like an airplane, helicopter. What the fuck is that? Jet? Oh, I don't know if you can see either. I have like 2 of the exact same mug. Because this one broke. This one was sent to me broken. The Crate mug. So if you ever receive anything broken through Owlcrate, make sure you like message them. Make sure you tag them and you message them, because they'll replace it. They usually order extras of that kind of stuff. Anyway, sorry, that's a really big tangent. Hypnos, I'm obsessed with him. He's like this. He's like the sexually fluid God that is walking among us. Well, he's not walking among us, but he's walking among them. The next question is one of the most beautifully written. I think I'm gonna go with The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I really enjoyed this book. I was surprised by its content, like quite a bit. I was surprised I liked it so much, but I think this is a really beautifully written book. Question number 13 is a thought-provoking, life-changing book. Whoa, I almost fell. Ooh, I'm drunk. I'm not. Coffee. I think I'm gonna have to go with So You Want to Talk About Race. I think that I listened to the audiobook, so I don't have a physical copy yet. But yeah, I think there was a lot to unpack within that book. Actually, you know what? That might be a book that I reread in 2021, because I think that there's a lot in it, and I don't think it's that long of a book. I listened to the audiobook, so I don't know physically what it looks like, because I don't have it. But yeah, I think that's a book that I will reread. So I should have put that down for my reread category. Completely forgot. But yeah, I think that it's just one of those books, one of those nonfiction books that I think everyone could gain from reading. Yeah, I feel like everyone should read it. The next is a book that you can't believe that you waited until 2020 to read. Basically any of the Owlcrate books that I drag my fucking feet with, I can't believe that I waited. But I'm also going to say Sky in the Deep. I don't know why I drug my feet with this, because I really loved this. Yeah. Oh, Vikings? Female Vikings being badass? Yes, please. Yeah. Really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed this. And it came out in 2018. I just like drug my feet with it, and I don't know why. Question number 15 is a quote from a book. I'm gonna have to use a book that I actually completed in January, because it's just a delightful quote. But I think I read the quote in 2020. So this is a Rue Shy. This book is very beat up because my cats decided to splash water all over it while I was taking a bath. I have one cat that loves to get in the bath with me. It's ridiculous. It's the whole thing. Anyway, so this is a Rue Shy. This is a middle grade book. This is why you should read middle grade as an adult. So it says here, this is what we get for thinking that scaly orange skin and fake hair could keep that former demon out of elected office. Did she just? Yes, she did. Yes, she did. There's also, on the exact next page, there's like a Doctor Who reference. And I just can't. I am obsessed with Roshni Chachki. I'm obsessed with her now. So, yeah. So, the next question is the shortest and the longest book. The shortest book I read was Memento, which was an ebook. Shout out, my Kindle's downstairs, so I can't, like, have it. But shout out to freaking Gail, my friend Gail. I'll put her Instagram handle down below if I remember. She bought me a fucking Kindle. Like, what? She bought me a fucking Kindle and sent it to me as like just a random ass gift. I kind of lost my shit. I couldn't believe her. Like, I just can't. I can't. But she's the reason I got to read Memento. I could have read it on my phone, but the screen hurts my eyes. Oh, speaking of, these are not real glasses, by the way. That just reminded me. I didn't even realize they were on my head. These are not real glasses. They're just blue blockers. I don't know if they actually work. I don't think they do. But I was on the computer a lot today. And anyway, sorry. Tangent. And I think the longest book is, according to Goodreads, the longest book is Storm of Swords, which is the longest. This is 1,177 pages. So, it's a chunky book. The next one is a book that shocked me. Maybe Final Girls? I want to say Four Dead Queens again, but I don't want to keep saying that. But I feel like Final Girls, I did not see it coming. It just kept twisting. Here's where I'd murder another name. But the next question is an OTP. I think I'm definitely going to have to say Yahara. Yahara, is that her name? Oh, I hope so. And Andrea. I think see, here's the deal. Something that we don't see in books enough, I feel like, is established LGBT relationships. Like established ones. We either see ones that are falling apart, or we see ones like before they get together, and that's like the whole book is them getting together. But we rarely see like established, at least I feel like we don't see established relationships very often. Especially healthy ones. Healthy, established relationships. The next question is a favorite non-romantic relationship. Amira and Briar. Hands down. The next question is a favorite of an author that you've read previously. Is this even really... This is like not even like a challenge. Definitely Find Me by Anne Fraser. I read this during Grinchathon. 5 stars as always. The next question is the best book based solely on recommendations, or a recommendation. For me, that has to be Invisible Women. Hands down. It was recommended to me by Gail, the lovely woman who bought me a Kindle. Don't know why. So delightful. But yeah, hands down. Hands down, she is, that book was amazing. Amazing. I am so glad that I read it. And it's a book that I recommend to a lot of people, especially if you like nonfiction. Especially if you like nonfiction. Especially like feminist kind of nonfiction. It's just a really, really good book. I think, I just bit my tongue. I think Sara from Sara's Reading Nook would really enjoy that book. I think I've recommended it to her before, but I think it's a really good book. The next question is your newest fictional crush. I don't think it's surprising what my answer is. It's Nick. I always feel really weird when I like crush on characters in YA because like they're like teenagers usually. So I like level them, I age them up in my head, which I don't think makes it any better. But Nick. That boy. Also, this just shows how bi I am. Lola, in here, in Ace of Shades, Lola is delectable. For lack of a better term, I love Lola. She is something. Also, every single person in Gilded Wolves is hot. Every single person, every single character in this book is hot. Like, out of, like, the main group of characters. Yeah. Everyone is fine. Everyone. The next question is the best debut that you've read this year. Such a Fun Age was a debut as well. Let's not discredit Such a Fun Age, but You Should See Me in a Crown was, like, so good. So good. So good. The next question is the best world building, and I feel like I mentioned this like last year as well, but I finally finished like the series, well, caught up. The next book will never come out. Who are we kidding? I think I have to say the Song of Ice and Fire series. Game of Thrones is just a really... George R.R. Martin is insane. He builds a fucking crazy ass world. I mean, yes, I've read other books this year that have been great with world building, but like, I mean, there's even, like, this is just a delightful book as well, and this is like a kind of like a folk tale with like kind of story, but like just, this world is just delightful. Okay, maybe it's not delightful, because some things bad happen. But I just think the world building, and I see Josh gets pissy about the next book coming out, but he hasn't even read this series yet, so he has no say. But they do keep pushing back the next book and pushing back the next book, and I feel for George R.R. Martin as a writer. I feel for him when it comes to writing, because yeah, this world is so, it just, I could never create this. I could never create this. The next question is a book that put a smile on your face or that was fun. I think these ones, always. I still haven't finished the rest of the series yet, but Hands down, the How to Train Your Dragon series. I've listened to the audiobooks. I own the physical books as well, but I listen to the audiobooks because they are narrated by David Tennant, and they're just fucking delightful. He does like crazy voices and stuff. He's phenomenal. A book that made you cry. This is a weird one. This is a weird one. This book made me cry like multiple times. Because I listened to the audiobook, and Flea is just... He's a way more intensely emotional person than I expected, I think. Or that you would expect, I think. Not that I didn't think that he was like an emotional person before, but like he is... I don't know. Like if you end up reading this and you end up listening to the audiobook, you'll get what I'm saying, but like when he's like reading his own audiobook, like you can feel like the emotion. Like he gets like choked up at like certain parts. Like you can just hear it in like his voice. And it just, this book made me cry. This book made me cry. It made me laugh too sometimes, but it made me like feel a lot more than I expected to feel. Yeah, Acid for the Children. Flea's book. The next question is a hidden gem of the year. I think I'm gonna have to go with Blended, just because I didn't expect there to be as much in this book as there was. I buddy read this with Shannon, and I didn't expect there to be as much in here, like jam-packed in this middle grade as there was. Like I thought it was going, when I picked this up, I knew it was about a character who was mixed race and her struggles with the balancing of that, and being in a family that's like divided as well. So I knew it played into that, but there's also like, there's so much more talk about race than I expected in here. There's even like talk about police brutality. Yeah, I didn't expect there to be as much in here as there is, and it was really surprising to me. In a good way surprising. This is why this is like a hidden gem, because this is why middle grade needs to stop being overlooked. If you overlook middle grade as a genre, I'm telling you, it can be it's surprising. It's one of the most surprising genres or age ranges for me, and one of the most exciting age ranges for me right now. The next one is one that crushed your soul. Oh my god. Okay, so this is another hidden gem that I feel like not enough people talked about in 2020. I read this because of I think Bow Ties and Books. I think they recommended this book. Just in general, I think they mentioned it somewhere, and I'm like, huh. And, yeah, I cannot wait for the fucking sequel. I'm so excited. But, yeah, this book crushed me, like, multiple times. Like, it kicked me while I was down. Most unique book. I think this is hands down the most unique book. You could also say that the Illuminae Files is very unique in its format. This is unique in kind of in its format, but in what it's about. Like, its entire premise is unique and weird and great. For me. It was great for me. I don't recommend this book to everyone. I've said this before. This book is not for everyone. But this is the most unique book because it is a book based on a really bad movie, talking about that really, like the canonization of that really weird movie, and then incorporating it into like stories of Richard Ayoade's life, mixed with a ton of ridiculous footnotes that are absolutely insane. And yeah, it's a very unique book. Very weird book. And the last question, why do we have to end on this note, is a book that made you mad. I can't believe I read this year. I thought I read it last year. Like, I couldn't believe that this was on my list of books I read this year, because I hated this so much. I've only read A Childhood out of here, and I will not read anything else because I absolutely hated it. I had to read this for school. Hated it. It was the most sexist, just awful thing. Racist, homophobic, trash. that I've ever read. I hated it. I hated it so much. It is just, there's a lot wrong with this book. There's a lot wrong with the person who wrote this. Like, I think Harry Crews in general is kind of a trash human. Sorry for anyone who's read this and has enjoyed it. This is I think the worst book I read all year. I still can't believe that I read this in 2020. This book sums up 2020 as trash. Also, a book that made me mad that I liked. I'm gonna talk about this one. So, The Written World. I highly recommend this nonfiction book if you like learning where literature came from. I had to read this for school as well. So, okay, my professor did recommend one book that was okay. But the ending pissed me off. So I think this book is marketed way too much for, I think he uses it, yeah, he uses it as like a tag up here. And so trigger warning for JKR. So this book was written before JKR like really came out as like a piece of shit. So there's no excuses. So this book claims to be from Homer to Harry Potter. So it goes through literature and its impact and on society and how it's changed and its history. And then, but I think it used Harry Potter as a way to sell this book, as a way to market this book to a younger audience as well, to get that demographic. I think it's a cheap ploy to get that demographic. He dives into every other like aspect of history and literature deeply. He travels. He takes it seriously, and he really like. His history's great, and then when he gets to Harry Potter, I feel like he just didn't even try. And my teacher was like trying to like use it as an excuse that like there was a generational gap maybe, but I don't care about that. I don't care if this author there's a generational gap with that. You did the research for every single other piece of literature. You weren't alive during like Homer times, so like you did research for every single other like piece of literature and dove deeply into it. And then you just like blip over Harry Potter. Like just blipped over it and refused to like acknowledge like the impact it's had on literature in general. And yeah, because regardless of how much we fucking hate She Who Shall Not Be Named, we cannot deny the impact that Harry Potter has had on just literature in general. Like, it got so many more people into reading. It got so, like, it's had a huge cultural impact. And I feel like this author just, like, blipped over it. Like, just blipped over it. And it felt like a cheap ploy to sell this book to a younger demographic as well as an older demographic. Yeah, it really made me mad. Can you tell it made me mad? It made me mad. And this is someone who I don't think Harry Potter is the greatest thing ever written, but I can't excuse the cultural impact that Harry Potter has had. Yeah. As much as I wish I could forget that She Who Shall Not Be Named exists at all, we cannot deny the fact that it has had a huge cultural impact. But anyway, yeah, this book kind of pissed me off. So there you go. That is my huge, I bit my tongue again. God damn. That was my huge ass reading survey. I hope you liked this video. I will link everything down below if you want to do this yourself. If you do, let me know so that way I can, check it out. If you made it all the way to the end, I'm gonna steal Shannon's idea and send me an emoji of like a stack of books. I don't know what I'm doing with my shirt. I'm gonna go. I have drained my camera battery and have probably loaded up my SIM card. Or not SIM card, SD card. I'm gonna go. I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Don't accept that kiss. There's still a pandemic going on. Damn it, Izzy. I love you. Peace. I'm out. Goodbye.